Hello, I'm Lia.
And I'm Emily, and welcome to May.
Yes, this is episode 2 of our new podcast that Emily and I are doing called CraftyJoy.
Yeah, the CraftyJoy Podcast, and we are going to be chatting a little bit about creativity together, also an opportunity to kind of get to know Lia a little better.
And Emily.
It turns out some people didn't know that we were mother and daughter, but that's fun. So
I take it as a compliment.
thank you, Mom, for hiring me. I do always feel a little funny being like, Mom.
Call me Mom. It's all good.
I do.
It is Mother's Day.
It is.
Month. There we go.
It's close. Mother's Day month. May comes with a lot of wonderful things, including Mother's Day and your birthday, which is on the same exact day as International Crepe Paper Flower Day, which we didn't decide.
Somebody else did. Thank you. I feel honored.
Yes, so it happens to perfectly work out. And we've got some gorgeous crepe paper flowers in our collection this month.
We do.
This, I just have to talk about
We
this.
do have to talk about
How
this.
insanely beautiful this foxglove is.
Oh, I think, this to me, this is like a vintage flower. And I've steered more toward the roses and the peonies, but oh my goodness, this one caught my heart.
See, that's interesting. To me, I read it as like a whimsical fairy flower.
Yeah.
And it's like a wildflower.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, is it? I've seen it in nature.
Well, all flowers are in nature.
Not cultivated nature.
That's true. Well, we're going to learn how to make these this month with Megan, and I'm really excited because some of the techniques on this are so detailed.
Yeah.
I just love how we go deeper and deeper with our creativity.
I mean, it's really an advanced flower. It's gorgeous. Advanced.
Even a beginner can do it. Trust me.
But yeah, we do have some funny, like our whole birthday collection kind of ties in with your birthday. Was that intentional?
Well, I don't know. So Krista, she, does all of our felt design, and I love her to bits, and she just went off on the birthday theme. I'm like, okay. So the squirrel has a birthday hat. How adorable is that? Of course, that can come off. You don't have to have a birthay squirrel if you don't want to.
I like a birthday squirrel. If anybody saw the video that I made about the birthday squirrel, you can check that out on our Instagram.
Yeah. Another fun thing, swinging back to crepe paper, we're just going to talk about the collection for a few minutes, is that we have a new crepe paper flower called the Hawthorne Branch, which is also a May birth flower. So I love how detailed and tiny this is. This will be really fun to design with as well.
It's, I don't think I would notably say that I've seen a hawthorn branch.
I don't know that I have either.
Do you know where they grow?
I don't. You're asking the wrong person. Maybe we should call Megan in here.
Yeah, these are really pretty though.
And then in addition, we have these little bells of Ireland, which is the other May flower.
Yeah.
So
we're not bells of Ireland. This is
Lily of the Valley. Why did I just say that? Lily of the Valley.
Lily of the Valley is one of my favorite flowers. Also gives that fairy kind of vibe that I like with the foxglove. They remind me of hats, just little hats.
Little fairy hats, yeah. Well, let's talk about creativity and blooming into our creativity.
Yes.
What do you got for me today?
Yeah. Well, in the theme of blooming, I kind of laid out a few points that go along with this garden theme. So for our first topic, I wanted to talk about how we nurture the soil of our garden, similarly to how we nurture our mind and our body to enjoy this creative practice. And yeah, so if you want to share, what are some things that you're doing for yourself to nurture your mind and body?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to go back to the garden and start there.
In your soil?
Yeah, in the soil. So this is year 2 of a new garden setup that I've done. And last year, I bought some soil that got delivered and piled into a big pile, and I got to move it into the beds and realized that it didn't have enough nutrition. So my plants were kind of last year. So
that's real.
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time and energy this year making sure I put really good nutrients back in my soil so that my garden can grow better this year, and tying that back into creativity and to our lives. I feel for me, this is a new one for me. I am, it's my birthday this month, and I'm kind of like, oh no, here we are again. And last year I spent a lot of time struggling with some health issues, which I don't really talk about that sort of thing. So I'm back in working out every day and just nurturing my body and getting strong again, so that when I want to go out hiking, I have the energy, and when I want to go spend time on the paddleboard, I have the energy for it. So that's kind of how I nurture my body, which also brings my mind into a place and allows it to be more creative rather than going home and taking a nap,
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting how it really is. It's all connected and kind of like supporting the soil in our garden. It's like if you are healthy and your body feels good, that will lead to your mind feeling so much better, so much better.
The other thing I've done, which, I've been 90% on this. I gave up sugar.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I could never.
No, it's been so good. I mean, I'll still eat honey or maybe not natural things, but no more refined sugar, which I have kind of missed that a few times. But
she likes her sugar.
I do. I'm kind of a sugar addict. That's why I'm really focusing on letting it go.
Yeah, and you gave that to me.
Yes, upright. So I made these cute little bloom cards. I love miniatures. I love little miniature things. So I made these little printable bloom cards. This is the envelope, and I'm going to read a few because they're fun.
Should we pick one? Should I pick one out of the...
Well, I'm going to read this one first, and then you can, because this is the one that really hit hard for me because it is my birthday. I embrace the unfolding of my life. Oh, I just thought that was so sweet. Okay.
Yeah, that feels very apt for where I'm at as well.
Yeah.
It's for me a lot of just focusing on letting things kind of go and be what they need to be.
Pick a card, any card.
You want me to pick that one? My heart opens like a flower in bloom. Perfect for our theme.
I know. I think these are so cute because they're all bloom themed. And I thought this would be just a great little gift to hand someone. And little affirmation cards. You can stick them in your binder or whatever you want.
So cute. Very cute.
Yeah. So that's kind of part of, expressing creativity.
Yeah.
Through blooming.
Yeah, and just like when you're building up the soil for your garden and the soil of your body and your mind, you were talking about the nutrients in the soil, and having those diverse nutrients is really important. And so we're I think that it's really important to kind of look at all these different forms of life and art and take in as much as you can to support your creative mind.
So I guess the way that I would see that, what I'm hearing you say is, even though you might be a paper flower maker, step back for a moment and do a different craft, like make a felt craft. Or one of the things that we've been throwing in every month, and we're going to do more of this because everyone seems to like it, our little watercolor projects.
Oh, yeah. These have been getting actually really good feedback, these little watercolor. This is a combination of both the watercolor and the layered art that I've been doing. And it's a Mother's Day card, which I wrote for Mother's Day.
And I guess I'm going to get that in a few days. But my point on that, I don't sit down and do a lot of that type of art anymore, which I want to. But it's like color by number, but it's a bit more elegant, I guess.
Yeah, paint by number. I don't know. I think it's also like kind of a puzzle when you get to assemble all these little pieces. It's a very satisfying craft. And there's nothing that I personally love more. This is where I thrive. In smushing paint colors together on paper. That's my favorite thing in the world. That's why I'm an artist.
And that's why you're sharing that love with other people and giving them an opportunity to smush along with you, which I think adds in that nutrition, that nutrient of the diversity of the soil, of creativity.
Of creativity. Diversify your nutrients. All right, let's see what else. So in our blooming garden, one of my favorite things to talk about in a garden, not necessarily with creativity, is companion planting. And how we can support each other, or how the plants can support each other in their blooming process. So we have plants in our garden that deter pests. We have plants that pull up nutrients from the deep roots, and all supporting our blooming flowers, our blooming garden.
Yeah. So how does that relate to creativity?
So I think this is kind of perfectly ties in with what we've been talking about this whole CraftyJoy journey, which is about celebrating community and really inviting more people into your creative process. And birthdays, Mother's Day, holidays of all kinds are great opportunities to do something like that.
Or even just a good old Friday. So this Friday, even if you watch this later, you can always go watch the replay. We are going to be doing an orchid together, you and I. So we're making a crepe paper orchid. Everyone can join. This is a beginner project.
Yes.
And the whole Crafternoon series is all about building community and really making it accessible for everyone.
Yeah, and this is actually a free class, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. So it's supporting that, bringing people in, especially new crafters. I think there's not a lot that you can lose. But regardless of this really fun class that we're doing on Friday, bringing in these people into your creative practice in general, I think is really, really cool. Support yourself, support your growth.
Well, one of the things that I remember from when we had our event last summer, where 20 ladies came from all over to spend time for the weekend making paper flowers, is they talked about how they didn't have anyone in their community to craft with. And that made me really sad. And, you know, on some level, we have this online community, which is what we can offer right now, because obviously not everyone can come here to Portland to hang out with us, although that would be a lot of fun. But that online community, but we're also, you know, with the Crafternoons, we're suggesting and inviting people to invite a friend to come over and craft with them, and again make it so that that person, even though they've never even thought they would ever make a paper flower before, can sit and work with their friend and start to create that community.
Yeah. I mean, I love nothing more than crafting with a friend, because you can really get into the flow, you can chat, especially something time consuming like making paper flowers, something that's kind of a lot of repetition. Sewing. Yesterday I was sewing a project for next month in the company of a friend, and I sewed for like 5 hours straight. Yeah. So bring those people into your life to support you in your blooming journey. I know you've been doing that as well, growing your community intentionally, and it's really great to see. Yes. Okay, let's see what next. Enjoy the process of cultivating your skills. Enjoying the process of cultivating your garden and your skills. So we talked about this last time, and I think this is kind of a repeating topic forever.
It is a repeating topic, and I think it's really in my face right now, to be honest.
In a bad way or a good way?
Well, I mean, in a frustrating way, because, you know, I have other things that I like to do as well outside of work, and one of them is pottery. And I've been so frustrated with pottery lately. I'm not hitting it. It's not forming right. My glazes are off. It's like, and I have to really stop and pause and remind myself that the fun is just in the process, and just calm down and slow down. And there's no agenda with pottery. It's just to make, you know, for fun. So I decided what works for me, because I don't want to stop. I'm going to pause the wheel, and I'm going to go start to hand build, because I have some hand build projects I've been wanting to do.
Love that.
Yeah, I made a little house last year.
Oh, it's so cute.
And I want to make more of those. So rather than, you know, the process is me learning how to really feel comfortable.
Totally.
And when it's not, then step back and kind of pivot a bit until I can.
I mean, it leads back into that diversity. You're not hyper focusing on this one thing that you're really struggling with and then potentially giving up.
Right.
But you're just shifting gears for a little bit to focus on another skill that will honestly play right into your returning to the wheel, because you're working with the clay.
So I might even say that with, you know, paper flowers. If you're working on a crepe paper flower and you're feeling a little frustrated, take a pause and go work on a cardstock flower. It's a different texture, but it's a similar. So
or go mush some paint.
Go do some watercolor. Exactly. So just kind of giving yourself some room, and pausing when the frustration shows up.
Totally.
It's real. It happens to all of us.
I know for me, I have to paint in bursts because I get really frustrated. I'm not frustrated to the point of stopping with my painting, but oh golly, I'm slow. I'm a slow painter because I need a lot of breaks in between, and that redirection is really key.
And I think the other thing that I noticed too is that if you just kind of work on what's in front of you in the moment, if at some point you pause and step back, you'll be amazed at what you've accomplished.
And you know what? That's so true. And I think something with pottery especially is that everything that you make is so beautiful and practical and useful. I would love a cupboard full of handmade.
Well, great, because I have a bunch I'm going to give you.
Great. Goals is to have my whole shelf filled with handmade pottery. But I know that's what you're doing for yourself, and it's so inspiring. What a cool hobby. I just have drawers and drawers of old paintings that will never see the light of day.
Well, you should share them with people who would love to hang them on a wall.
No. Anyways, thank you so much for coming today and chatting with us about blooming your garden. And I'm really excited to see what you guys do with this collection.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think, diversity here on the table, a lot of different things you can explore. And I do encourage you, if you haven't made something with felt, here's a fun little easy felt project that you can make little sachets, or, try something different than what you usually do, just to kind of give some, cross nutrition into your creative.
Diverse nutrients.
There we go. That's a better way to say it.
Diverse nutrients, and don't forget to also do your companion planting. The two important things in your garden.
I love that. All right, we'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.